morning, everyone, and we thank you for joining us as we take time to share stories of men and women who willingly served and sacrificed for our common good. For some, their service was matched by silence, by having to pretend to be someone they are not. For others, service was followed by struggle.
And chances are, when you think of a veteran, you don't imagine a black, queer, plus-size woman. The first vet we honored tonight broke down barriers while protecting the homeland and continues to do the same today, right here in Central Ohio.
When I first went in, I thought I was going to be in for life. I really did. It didn't turn out that way. And I'm okay with that because I'm doing other things that I never thought I would be able to do. And certainly I would never have been able to do if it weren't for the Coast Guard.
As a full-time attorney and current owner of plus-size Pretty Consignment, Angelina Vega loves her life today, albeit a far cry from the one she had imagined for herself. Her career path began as a police officer at the University of Texas at San Antonio.
And I really thought that I wanted to get into federal law enforcement. So Coast Guard seemed like a natural progression as under the Department of Homeland Security, federal law enforcement. I thought I could maybe be a cop in the Coast Guard. So I served in the United States Coast Guard from 2008 until 2011. I was a gunner's mate. So I worked with small arms and ammunition. I taught people how to shoot weapons safely. So here I am, a black woman working with weapons, and it was, I definitely felt like I was part of something bigger than myself. I was very aware of how I acted and how people perceived me, very aware of it.
She was one of the very few women, and bisexual, at a time when Don't Ask, Don't Tell was still enforced. Still, she remained optimistic.
I think that things are better now than they were. And things were better with me than they were with my mother when she was in the military. And things are going to be better in the future than they are now.
As a coastie, Angelina's first task was on a boarding team, ensuring anyone coming in via water was above board.
So what we would do is we would go out 12 nautical miles. We would meet a large cargo vessel and we would board it and with all of our gear on, and we would go and we would just inspect the vehicle or inspect the vessel. Make sure that there's no stowaways, make sure that there's no, guns or drugs or anything like that. It was a challenge sometimes. And then I went into working in the armory. So I was kind of like a librarian for guns. I made sure that all of our guns were correct, that everything worked properly, that there were no missing bullets, that there were no missing guns, heaven forbid, a weapon being missing.
Angelina was drawn to the military after watching her mother serve in the Air Force and the Ohio Air National Guard for nearly 30 years.
I was born when my mom was in the military and she was stationed in Plattsburgh. We moved to Las Vegas in Southern California. Then I moved here to Columbus in 5th grade. So that's kind of why I consider Columbus to be my home.
In 2011, Angelina was honorably discharged from the Coast Guard and seeking a new path. She finished getting her degree in economics from the University of New Mexico with her GI Bill.
So the next thought was to go to law school. I applied to a bunch of different law schools.
Angelina graduated from Moritz College of Law in 2017 and joined both her worlds when she began counsel at the National Veterans Memorial and Museum for 4 years.
I started there before we even opened up, and it was really cool to be a new attorney in a new startup museum. I used a lot of my training from military, a lot of my background, and I was able to help stand up this museum.
Today, she is project counsel for the Columbus Downtown Development Corporation and an entrepreneur, feeling truly at home in her Consignment Boutique in Franklinton. There, not only does she strive to make people feel good about themselves, but she's also working to create a social enterprise.
I don't do things halfway. So all of that discipline and everything that I learned really does translate to owning a consignment store for plus size folks. It's kind of weird, but it does.
A woman who served this country and now serves her community.
I'm helping people be their authentic selves, and I'm not judging them based on their size. I don't care. I just want people to be themselves and be authentically them.
Angelina Vega will always find a way to uplift those around her and break the mold for those that come after.
Sometimes I feel like I don't live up to what a veteran is supposed to be. And then I remember that there is no mold of what a veteran is supposed to be, and that me being the leopard print wearing person that I am a veteran. I'm proud, and I deserve it just as much as any other veteran.
And when we come back, we meet a veteran who has taken his experiences in Vietnam and turned them into a healing mission for other vets.